Once you jump through that hole, you just know to. I really cannot fight.
One of the games that I was very personally excited to see return is Flashback. We're joined by Simon here today at the E3 Microsoft booth to discuss a little bit about the game. Thanks very much for joining us today.
No problem at all.
Flashback, remake, writing it, really easy, right?
Well, to a degree, this is the thing. It's like, I mean, I thought when I heard they were remaking it, I was jumping up and down, kind of like, hey, I'm the hugest Flashback fan. I got to write this game. But the thing was to expand it, but also to honor the original. And it's very important to me. I didn't want to go, hey, you kind of ruined my childhood. So like, you know, and it was my childhood as well. So it's kind of like I had to have that game, and so to do the game that I wanted to see. That I, through my rose-tinted glasses, all the stuff that was there behind the scenes in Flashback, the original, is now, I hope, in Flashback.
Well, we still have that wonderful intro. It's Conrad, even though you don't know who he is or what he's doing, but he's being chased, crashes in the jungle, wakes up, doesn't know who he is, boom, from there. But like you said, the story sort of evolves past that point. It's not just a beat-for-beat remake. How did you go into it? Did you look at the story arc of the original and then try and build out from there? How did it work?
Absolutely, and I wanted all the classic elements from the original to be there. So we looked at it, we played the original, we looked at the original script even. We kind of really went in depth to go, who is Conrad? What is the story? What are people expecting from a Flashback game?
And with that, I mean, sci-fi's moved on since that point, but Flashback has always resonated with that very beautiful, very unique sort of style. I mean, with expanding beyond it, did you look at inspiration perhaps for sci-fi today, or did you try and actually look backwards to see what was around when Flashback originally came out?
To a degree, we looked back. I talked to kind of Paul Cuisset, who's the original producer, and he's also the producer of the new version of Flashback. And we talked about his influence, what made him to make Flashback in the first place. And so we did modernize it for a modern audience, but we also looked back at all those great movies that inspired it, from kind of like Blade Runner, Total Recall, all those kind of elements. If you're a fan of kind of the genre and stuff, we put in some neat little Easter eggs in there for you.
I gotta say, I mean, Flashback isn't the only game Conrad's been in. I mean, there was obviously the sequel, Fade to Black. I'm just wondering whether, given that you were scaling out, expanding upon the original Flashback, whether you looked at that as well at all, or did you keep your focus entirely on the original?
Our focus was entirely on Flashback, and we kind of looked at, we put some stuff in there, so we hope the Flashback universe does go on and expands out from this game.
Well, what was the origins of this project? I mean, who came up with the concept, let's remake the game? Because whilst people will be calling out for it, it's not one that you initially think will happen. I mean, the only closest comparison for me would be Another World, really, the same sort of remake thing. I mean, did you guys, how did it work out?
It was always Paul's baby, and I said we spent a lot of time kind of around the table with Paul, working on what he kind of wanted and stuff. And I kind of asked him, he felt the time was right. And he said, this is the game he imagined back in the day when he created the original. This is how he saw it in his head. And it's like the first time I actually went into the studio, kind of Vector Cell, and I saw like, oh my God, it's the Jungles of Titan. It's how I remember it through my rose-tinted glasses again. You know, it's like, it was kind of beautiful to see that with the Unreal Engine.
Picking a voice actor, finding someone to embody that role, what did you guys do?
It was to look someone who could play it. I mean, Conrad is kind of, he's a bit modernized, but we really, even if you look at the original drawings of Conrad to how he is now, he's still got the brown jacket, he's still the same Conrad, but he's there for a modern audience. So it was difficult because the original game's just kind of text there, so it's nice to now have a voice, and David, who did the voice, is a very talented voice actor, so we kind of feel he nailed it. So.
Not spoiling it at all. Don't wish to ask about spoilers or anything like that, but obviously there is an end to this game.
Yes.
Is it a full stop, or is it perhaps a new beginning for Flashback, the franchise?
It's expanded from the original, shall I say. So there's kind of elements. It doesn't quite be as such a full stop as the original was. So we put a little tail in there, and there's a few things kind of leading up to where it could go next.
Okay. Well, where are you guys in development right now? What have you got left to do?
The studio now, so it's hard for me to talk to development. So, but I know they're kind of like sort of just doing kind of final sort of bugs and checking out, making it kind of perfect for the release. So.
Now, with doing story scripts for games and stuff like that, obviously it's very, well, I guess with any sort of script, it's always going to have to be very early in the project for everything to be built around that. On reflection of what you submitted, on reflection of what you've done, are you happy with the project, or the things that now you're thinking about going, oh, if I had a bit longer, I could have tweaked here or tweaked there?
No, it was kind of nice. We did spend the time on Flashback, and it's kind of, it's one of those projects where like sort of, I approach everything. I had another journalist go, well, this is digital download, so how would you treat it differently from a AAA title? I wouldn't. It's kind of like sort of, I wrote this and I spent the time and like sort of, and it just, I love Flashback. I kind of gush about it. It's kind of like, it's like, it was that game for me that really got me into gaming. And it was just such an important thing to do and make right.
I don't know whether you can sort of talk about it, but from the demo we had played a while ago, a pre-E3 event, didn't really get an idea of the sort of musical and the sort of score for it. Right. Can you sort of comment on that at all? I mean, just again, does it sort of reflect the original version, or are you guys trying for something different?
Again, I can't actually talk about kind of score and stuff, so I'm not sure kind of where it's going. Because so again, I love the original kind of electronic score. And I'm not sure if Paul now is going for kind of a more kind of orchestral, which I've kind of seen in the demo and stuff. So,
listen, thanks very much indeed for talking. Just really look forward to playing it.
No problem. Thank you very much.
What have you done, Agent Conrad Beehart?